Good afternoon. Myself Rahul Narwal, rank 374 in this year exam, and this is my fourth attempt. In the earlier attempts, I was twice interview dropped, and on the first attempt, the language papers could not be cleared by me. So first of all, before discussing what I improve in regular attempts, I try to focus from the starting of preparation, how the preparation has to be started from prelims to interview stage, and then I focus my improvement during the exams. So first, during the first stage of preparations, like in preliminary, the basic approach, like 6-7 points you have to focus is that the first thing is read NCERTs as many times as possible. Like NCERTs are the basic, and without reading those NCERTs you can't approach or build the foundation on it. And the prelim exam is basically the NCERT test plus current affairs test plus environment and plus the concept of economy. Now the second, in the prelim exam only, the current affairs, second point is that. And in current affairs, what you have to do is, like the UPSC regularly throws a ball. Like in this year, the current affairs portion is at large. In the earlier years, basically 5 to 10 questions, but in this year about 20 questions has been come in exam. So for that current affairs, I suggest that regularly read Hindu. Second thing, read any coaching institute's notes which include whole monthly current affairs like GS Core or any other, whichever you like. And the third thing is that regularly update yourself with the policies, schemes and other developments in the government, which in the government sector or any other new policies like Atal Pension Yojana or any policies which are in news regularly, like from 6 to 8 months before. And the third thing is that the concept of economics, basic concept of economics like basic understanding, basic meaning, bank rate, etc., all the things you have to be on your tips so that you don't puzzle yourself in solving the prelim questions. And for this, I'm not suggesting any book list, I'm just saying that basic understanding of prelim, of economic portion, it depends upon you how you understand that concept in Hindi or English by taking the self example, by taking someone else example. And there are different sites for that. You can follow that, or you can follow the coaching institute's notes, or you can follow any basic book of Indian economy. The questions of prelim in economics is basically the concept based, and second, the economic questions are basically on economic survey. So my advice for economic survey is that if you have time, then go for that, read whole economic survey. If you don't have time, that it's very difficult for you to read whole economic survey, you can read the summary from wherever you collect that, you can read economic survey summary. And fourth thing, which most oftenly the UPSC is very fond of that, like Buddhism and Jainism. And Buddhism and Jainism, I have to say that you have to read it thoroughly, Buddhism and Jainism. And they are very hot topics for UPSC, and regularly 2 or 3 questions are definitely going to be asked in your prelims. And for that, NCERTs plus there is one Tamil Nadu NCERTs books also available online. You can go for that, or any source. Don't go PhD for that Buddhism, but you have to basic understanding of that Buddhism concept, desire theory, desireless theory, all the things. And the other thing is that the fifth point, art and culture portion. In the earlier attempts, I usually neglect that portion, art and culture, for prelim. I thought that art and culture is definitely not going to help me in prelim, but all the time in earlier attempts I was wrong. So I advise you to go for art and culture, and for that you have the NCERT's book. You can develop the concept and understanding. Basically that is a fact based questions more, art and culture basically. You can go for the NCERT's, and you can go for any other coaching institute notes. And plus I have suggest you while reading art and culture, like different dances. You can have a pictorial representation of that dance along with you also, so that you can develop a better understanding of that particular dance. And the other one thing is that I always left medieval history portion. So this is the only thing I left during the prelim portion. So it depends upon you, either you have to cover the medieval history portion or not. But I suggest you, if you cover all about all the theory and all the concept portion and you have time left for medieval portion, you can go for it, because God knows how many questions are going to be asked in UPSC. And if there is a question of 1 or 2 questions, so that above one question you are above cutoff and below that question you are below cutoff. So if you have time, then go for medieval history portion. Other thing is that I want to mention for prelim is practice questions. I personally never practice mock questions for prelims in all my 4 attempts, but I advise you, it also depends upon individual to individual. So I advise you to please practice mock questions for prelims, because what I think that reading as much as possible or as much from different sources won't help unless we know how the questions come, how we have to focus on questions, how to give attempt on that question. So I'll advise that you can go for that particular mock practice or test series, whatever you like, but at least you have some 200 or 250 mock practices for prelims, so that in exam you don't have to develop how to approach a particular question. And for other thing which I have to mention is that every student have a different approach or different criteria, that I have to attempt the 70 question and that's enough from 100 questions. I'm talking about the paper 1 prelim. So I'll advise that if you are attempting for 70 questions and if you are 100% sure for 60 to 65 questions or more than 65 questions, then never take risk or never approach above 70 questions. And if you are correct, or if you are hopeful that out of 70 I have 50 to 55 questions I am 100% correct for that, then you can take risk, so that you can jump from that cutoff, which are going to be every time is on the rising scale. Other thing I want to point is that during the preparation of prelims, like before 20 or 25 days, we read haphazardly in the preparation of prelims, like from different sources. 20 days are left and we read this, that, and don't do this. My approach or my prelims, my approach and my always qualifying the prelims exam in the all 4 attempts is only one key, that is I didn't read haphazardly in my prelim preparation. That is the main thing. Basic approach should be focused, basic NCERTs should be taken into consideration, and don't read haphazardly and don't read from different sources. Use one sources, read it many times, as much as you possible. Now I continue my suggestions to mains. Now for mains, there are few different, or I am not going to suggest any book list or something. You all very well aware of all the book list, all the current affairs portion. So for the mains, I suggest you 5-6 different points which I have to mention. One thing is that read less, think more, because the mains, general studies mains portion or mains exam is more of that concern or more of that scenario in which your thinking ability has to be tested with the reading ability which you read during the preparation. So as much you think and as much you read, there's no different, there are 2 parallel tracks on that. So I suggest read less but think more on that particular topic. As much as you think in different directions in multi-dimensional way, that is going to be happen and beneficial for you. Second thing, develop innovation in your approach. Like innovation I mean to focus is that out of the box thinking of any topic which you have to have a concern on that topic. Like I'll give you an example, like there is a topic on reservation. and obviously there is going to be different debates on reservation. So I'll suggest you to develop pros and cons of reservation. Definitely there is a cons of reservation, and definitely there is going to be pros of reservation. But if you don't develop innovation in your approach and don't develop multi-dimensional approach in your answers, then it is not going to be fetch more marks for you. So another point is that limit your source. I think you have to limit your source because the preparation or the syllabus is very lengthy, so you have to limit your source. But during that source which you are consigned to sorry, but that particular source which you are consigned to, add addition of that particular points or your innovative points is very much necessary. And for that I advise you, like notes making of, I'm not saying that notes making of NCERTs, I'm saying the notes making of different topics, and include that points like 5 to 6 points, and paste that 5 to 6 points along with your basic source is very much going to be helpful for your exams. Now I'm directly shifting myself towards the essay preparation, and for that I also said that write your own thoughts in essay, and don't judge or don't make mistake which I made in my earlier 2 attempts or 3 attempts. Like I write my first essay on that day itself, on the D-day, deciding day itself. So I advised you to write essay 10 to 15 essay before going to that essay or before going to that essay exam. At least you have to write 10 to 15 essays, so that it will gives valuable inputs to you. You can check yourself where you are making mistakes. And third thing I want to say is that cover all the aspects during the essay. Like there's a essay in this exam, India's Dream, and for that I want to say that there are different approach or different points and different multi-dimensional way in which that essay has to be handled or assigned. So cover as much different aspects in that essay or any essay, social, political, economic, regional, or any personal example you can write in that, but that personal example is not illogical, and you can write thoughts of social reformers, Swami Vivekanand, Gandhiji, Dr. Ambedkar, anything, but you have but that thought is not indirectly related, that should be directly related to that particular essay. And the framing of essay is very must for that. Like before starting essay, you have to frame your essay and take for that 20 to 25 minutes, and I can say that take 20 minutes for there are 2 essay we have to write, and take 20 to 25 minutes for every essay, so that the before framing you have to approach your essay in different directions and write different points, small points while framing, so that you can collaborate your points during essay writing when you write essay. And third thing is that I want to tell my personal experience. Like there's a India's Dream essay, and I write poem like 7-8 poems, the self-made poem at the particular D-day itself. I write it on that in that essay. So I suggest you, if you can write 2-3 self-made quotations, and I'm suggesting that self-made quotations is best instead of quotations from other higher thinkers or social reformers. So I advise you, self-made quotations works wonders for you. And in this exam I write 6-7 lines, and I frame those lines in that particular day itself. And if you don't write quotations, doesn't matter. And mainly the essay is the test of your own thoughts, not somebody else's thought. So my personal suggestion is for you is that write personal thoughts as much as you can in particular essay. Now I'm shifting my approach to ethics paper. Like in the earlier exams, in the earlier attempts, I scored 83 in 2014 exam in ethics paper, In the 2013 exam I scored 110, 17, and in this exam I scored 110. Two I am expecting 100 or 90 or 100, middle of that, but 110 is very good score. But I am not expecting 110 in my ethics in this exam. But I think what I follow in this ethics paper personally is that there are some 5 or 6 points which I have to follow, which I have followed during my preparation in this attempt, which make me scored very well. The first thing is that the answer writing in this attempt I attempted, means in the earlier attempts I didn't do answer writing. That is the mistake I am making since 2 or 3 years. So I advise you, answer writing is must for general studies and especially for ethics, because in ethics you have to write in multi-dimensional manner and in a collaborative manner and simplistic approach. So first thing I want to say is that in ethics there are different sources of material is available. So my suggestion is, in spite of reading different sources, limit your source as much as you can, because reading different sources will confuse you, and this will never going to make you fetch marks in ethics paper. The second thing is that in this attempt what I do is that I understand the term of every mentioned topic or every mentioned term in the syllabus. Understand that meaning of that term, and for that I just type like I give you example, like there's a accountability term. So what I did is that I type that accountability word on the net, on the Google itself, and read 6-7 articles from that accountability aspects. So it will make my broader horizon more clear, my mental horizon more clear, and it definitely enhance my knowledge about accountability. So it will help me in writing the accountability answers if any is going to be asked in ethics paper. The third thing which I do is that in first I approach directly case studies in my paper. Like there is a 2 section A, section B. So I directly shift my answer to the case study itself. So I start from the case studies, so that but it depends upon individual to individual. But I start my answers from case studies itself, and for that I advise that in the case studies we have to try to think in multi-dimensional manner. Second thing what I want to mention is that give basic to basic solutions also. Mention basic to basic, like the childish solutions which you can mention, start from that. And second thing is that in the case studies itself you can write the thoughts of social reformers, and try to write something in paper. Like it's better you have to write like I have to suggest that try to complete your paper, and in spite of leaving 2-3 case studies or 2-3 answers or questions, you have to write something, so that it will give or it will fetch 1 or 2 marks itself. Like, and one thing or I want to tell is that try to give many solutions in case studies. In spite of sticking to particular solution, I suggest that try to give many solutions as much as you can, like point wise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in spite of giving particular solution and explaining that solution. Now other thing is that in case studies always try to start your answer with the basic question, basic solutions. Like there's a case studies in this year paper itself, there's a violent mob case study. So first thing which I am starting the solution is that, first thing I mention is that just provide some drinking water facility to that mob. This is the most childish solution I mentioned, and this I advise you that try as much as you can and try to give as much solution as you can in that case study solutions. Now I am shifting myself, these are the ethics and essay, and my optional subject is zoology, and I am shifting myself what I did in earlier attempts and what I did in this attempt. like there's a difference, so that in this attempt I got a rank, and in the earlier attempts my main scores are not very good, which can make me to score a rank. So in the first attempt my language papers English and Hindi are not cleared, and were not cleared, and I failed in those papers. So I suggest that first thing is that definitely I don't have any good acceptance of that particular language, and I suggest that for language paper it is not going to be very difficult for you students, because the language papers are definitely easy. But for that, if any of you will fail language paper, don't dishearten yourself, because the determination is the criteria in this exam, and persistent effort, the main thing is in this exam. In the second attempt I was not expecting an interview call, but I got it. But what I missed in those two attempts and what I did in this attempt is the main thing, and that is the answer writing. That is only. In the earlier attempts I didn't write any single answer at home or anywhere else, but in this attempt I attempted approximately 200 to 250 answers plus 15 to 20 essay in this attempt, and I think that is the main key which will make me to score very high in mains especially. And the second thing which I want to mention is that in the earlier attempts, which I was thinking that what I am making a mistake, that I am reading from different sources. Like I am reading a particular topic like any security issue like India-Pakistan relation, I am reading from different sources, IDSA से भी पढ़ लिया and योजना से भी पढ़ लिया, ये भी पढ़ लिया, वो भी पढ़ लिया. Like my focus and my orientation is not limited. So what I am missing is that I am missing my own thoughts. In this attempt I limit my preparatory source, and for that I just have a basic understanding of particular topic and then provide the valuable inputs from my basic thoughts itself. So for this general studies mains exam, the key is that as much as your own thoughts will be on paper, as much as you score well in exam in general studies.